Is that gasoline I smell?
No, man. No! No!
Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to From the Collection, a little video series I do where I take movies off of my shelf and I talk about them. Today we are talking about one of my all-time favorite films, The Crow, just in time for its 30th anniversary, which was earlier this year, I believe. I'm pretty sure. It's probably why the remake came out this year. Don't worry, we will talk about that. But first, let's just talk about this release here. This is the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray of The Crow. It just came out this year, brand new 4K master. I've had this movie for years on Blu-ray. It's how I first watched it. And after seeing this 4K release, it's a huge upgrade. It's like night and day. I love what they've done with the film here. The visuals, the sound, it's excellent. And a dark film like this, I mean, not just in, I'm not talking about in terms of tone, but like, you know, in terms of the cinematography, the darkness of it, it shines on 4K Blu-ray. But anyway, I actually picked up the American release for this one because I got this weird deal from a shop overseas where I wanted to import the Aliens 4K and there was like a buy two get so much off deal. This one did come out in Australia, but you know, I wanted to get the deal in Alien, so I bought this one with it. Nice thing about getting the American release is that I actually got the slipcover with it, which is what you're seeing here. Got some info on the back. Slip them off. Same artwork underneath, nothing changes. There's nothing... Oh wait, no, you get some more photos on the slipcover. The more you know. Anyway, open them up, pretty simple release, got a little slip there, just blank 4K disc, no other disc inside the case. It's pretty much what you would expect from an American 4K release nowadays. But so, The Crow. If you haven't seen this film, watch it. I don't care. Close this video right now and just go watch it. It's classic. It might even be a little bit underrated in terms of comic book films. It's definitely one of the least talked about. But this film has a cult following for a reason. Of course, there's the whole legend behind Brandon Lee and his death on set of this film and, you know, the theories, the conspiracies and everything behind that. But the reality is that it was just a tragic accident that stole what, after this film, looked to be one of the most promising actors in Hollywood. It's nothing short of a miracle that they finished this film, and they did it out of love and respect for Brandon Lee, and I'm so glad they did, because if they didn't, we would have been robbed of a terrific film. The techniques and like the effects that they used to actually finish this film and, you know, sort of bring back Brandon Lee for the last few pickups and the shots that they needed, it's amazing. And the truth is, you don't even really feel it in the film. There's, save for like a couple of face replacement shots, but to be fair to them, I'm pretty sure it was like the first time anything like that had been done. Like, you know, it sort of paved the way for what you would eventually see with Paul Walker in Furious 7. But yeah, a true sign of quality in this film is that if you just watch this by itself, you would have no idea that the main actor didn't get to finish the film. This is the definitive Brandon Lee movie. The unfortunate reality is he hadn't done enough before this film to be known for much else. The reality is, after this film, he would have been huge because The Crow was a huge success, maybe in part to the notoriety that it garnered because of Lee's death and just the troubled production it had in general. I don't know how Alex Proyas did this. He clearly just pulled it out of his ass. But I mean, even just to talk about the quality of the film, the original source material of it, the Crow graphic novel, already you just have this amazing source material to draw off of. James O'Barr poured his heart and soul into that story. There's this famous real life event behind it for him where he lost his girlfriend in a drunk driving accident. And, you know, to channel that grief and sadness, he poured it into the Crow graphic novel. And it's a story about a man and his wife who were murdered. and the man is brought back from the dead by a crow to right the wrongs of their unfair death before he can rest and be with his beloved forever. Excuse me. It's a great premise just from the start, and the execution here is flawless. The cinematography, the soundtrack, oh, I mean, Rage Against the Machine, The Cure, Stone Temple Pilots, Nine Inch Nails. I think Hole's even on the soundtrack as well. Like, the whole aesthetic of this film is what really sells it. It's just one big emo, gothic, avant-garde bonanza. And it all just looks beautiful. It's a film where, you know, under anyone else, it would be laughable because it's just so dour and sad and dramatic. But Proyas just makes all of it work. And of course, Lee just sells the character here. It is genuinely just a film where you have a great concept and it's executed flawlessly. I mean, even the action in this film, which I feel like, considering how well everything else is done in the film, the action kind of gets, you know, left behind in the conversation. But this is a great 90s action film. I mean, you have a martial arts star in the leading role. He's running around with a sword, guns, he's doing flips, he's punching and kicking guys. I mean, I just always think about that scene in the pawn shop. You know, he's throwing the rings at the store owner. Each one of these is a life that was stolen, something like that, a life that was stolen. And then he walks out of the shop after pouring gas everywhere, and he's just like, is that gasoline I smell? Walks outside, shoots a shotgun into the store and blows the whole thing up. It's, I mean, if I was sitting here talking about my favorite scenes, I could go on all day. The final scene where he crawls back to the grave after saving, not Shelley, I'm trying to remember what the girl's name is. I don't remember. I'm sorry. But Sarah, that's it. Yeah, Sarah. After he saves the little girl and, you know, he's done what he was sent back to do. He crawls back to his grave, and his dead wife just walks in behind him. The music swells. They hold each other, they embrace each other, and he returns to the earth, and they're together forever. I mean, well, you know, that's basically me selling the movie. I think it's perfect. It's a great 90s action film that also lives on its, you know, the story behind it, this romance, this idea of, you know, being wronged in life, so you have to come back from the dead and make things right so you can be with your loved one forever. It's a concept so good that they repeatedly tried to make good movies with it and have just failed for decades. So obviously, they should have just left it alone, but they didn't. We got City of Angels after this one, and I've seen City of Angels front to back. It's okay. I think the best thing about that film is that they made a conscious decision not to use Eric Draven again. I think that was a brilliant idea because it basically leaves this first film untarnished. I don't mind City of Angels. I think it's a good idea, and I think The Crow could have worked and could still work really well as an anthology series where you follow a different character in each film. I think that's a great idea. But the problem is, while they did do that for the Crow movies, they all just suck and they get worse as they go along. I mean, was the third one, I think it was Salvation. Excuse me. Started watching that one. Couldn't finish it. Just, no. And then Wicked Prayer, I got like 5 minutes into it and turned it off. I didn't even see him become the Crow. I should go back and finish those movies one day just out of curiosity, but I can't bring myself to. And I, of course, can't make this video without talking about the remake. I didn't hate it. I don't think it's an awful film. I think it's a competently made film. Especially, you know, the final action scene in the opera I thought was actually pretty good, but the reality is you have to sit through like an hour and 40 minutes of just mediocreness to get to that part. The romance in that film is just not believable at all. The dialogue is fucking atrocious. And it feels like it's trying way too hard to be cool and edgy like the first Crow film, and it just fails in every aspect. And, you know, it doesn't help that they literally just use Eric Draven again. Say what you will about all the Crow sequels, at least they had the smarts to not retread Eric Draven. And, you know, I mean, it's strange because the Crow movie that came out this year was the first example I've ever had in my life where a film that I love was remade, and it helped me understand why people talk about remakes and reboots the way that they do, because the reality is it's not even that they're all bad, they're just unnecessary. And it's like, why would you even try to improve upon perfection? You just can't. But anyway, in summary, The Crow is one of my favorite films of all time. This 4K is excellent. If you love this film and you haven't seen this, I would highly recommend picking it up. And don't watch any other Crow movie. Maybe the TV show, I've heard the TV show's alright, but I haven't watched it. Anyway, The Crow, this is it. This is all you need. It's perfect. Let's just leave it alone. And that's gonna do it for this video, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. And as always, I will see you all in the next video.